from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had bricks for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Nothing they propose to do that will be withheld from them. This was a community of brethren, and they decided, we don't know the number of them, but it looked like there were many. They decided, you know what? We want to make a name for ourselves. We don't want to just pass through the earth, and at the end, our life fizzled out, and nobody will remember our name, remember our father's name. Let's make a name for ourselves. And then they said, you know what? Let's make bricks of stones, and let's build a tower to the high heavens. Let's see how close we can get to God. And they began. And they began. The Bible said, God has to leave his throne and came down and saw what they were doing. And he said, you know what? Because they are one, their heart is one, their purpose is one. When one said, bring this, everybody brought. When one said, take this, everybody took. And he said, you know what? Nothing they ever proposed to do. If they really want to get to heaven, nobody can stop them. Nothing can stop them. And God have to scatter their language just so that that project will be aborted. Just so that the project will be aborted. Unity of purpose. I want you to know that those 5 of you in that care group, that 12 of you in that care group, that 15 of you in that care group, if you will come with one heart, if you will come with one purpose, and say whatever it is that is happening in this our community, we are stopping it today. If you will gather in that room, that house where you hold your care group, and go on your knee and cry out to God, and say, this sister that have been married for like 10 years and no child, we want to call down that child today, because your hearts are one. God has no option but to answer immediately. The reason why there are needs in this church is because the people of God has failed to pray. The reason why you are where you are is because you've decided that you can do it alone. The reason why things have not worked for you is because you have not gone to another person and team up. Iron, they say, sharpen iron. You need to have a brother. You need to have a family. As a family, you cannot be alone. You cannot be alone. Team up with another family. When something is going wrong in your home, call on your brother and say, my brother, I don't know what is happening in this house. I need it to move. I need things to move. Or you go back to your care group and say, brethren, today, I know we have outline. Let's keep it aside and let's cry out to God who called us to gather in this house. Because the ark of God is here. And because his ark is here, blessings follow wherever the ark of God is. And then you cry out. If you are a care group host and you are going through things, landlord come and serves you a notice. Take that notice, lay it before God and say, Father, this house is housing your ark. How can they say they are giving me quick notice? It is not possible. Lay it before him. Cry out to him and leave it there. Tomorrow, the landlord will call you and say, my brother, I just thought we should renegotiate. You say, is that what you mean? Okay. I was paying 500,000 before. Right now, I have only 300,000. Take it or leave it. You will say, bring it. Because you have settled it in the place of God. You have settled it in the place of God. But if you have not done your part, you cannot be bold to cry out to God like that. You cannot be bold to go back to your landlord or to ignore him and forget about whatever threat he's bringing. I say, I'm waiting for the day that he said the thing will expire. Let it expire and we will see. I want you to see another group of people who thought they don't need anybody. Judges chapter 18. They wanted to do it alone. We were not created to do it alone. We are created to need people, to need other men in our midst. Judges. In those days, reading from verse 1, Judges chapter 18, verse 1. In those days, there was no king in Israel. And in those days, the tribes of the Danites was seeking an inheritance for itself to dwell in. For until that day, their inheritance among the tribes of Israel had not fallen to them. So the children of Dan sent 5 men to their family from their territory, men of valor and Zorah, men of valor from Zorah and Esther, to spy out the land and search it. They said to them, "Go, search the land." So they went to the mountains of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. While they were at the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of a young Levite. They turned aside and said to him, "Who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? What do you have here?" And he said to them, "Thus and so Micah did for me. He had hired me and have become his priest." So they said to him, "Please inquire of God, that we may know whether the journey on which we go will be prosperous." And the priest said to them, "Go in peace. The presence of the Lord will be with you on your way." So the 5 men departed and went to Laish. They saw the people who were there, how they dwelt safely in manner of the Sodanite, quiet and secure. There were no rulers in the land who might put them to shame for anything. They were far from the Sodanite, and they had no tie with anyone. Then the spies came back to their brethren in Zorah and Esther, and their brethren said to them, "What is your report?" So they said, "Arise, let us go up against them, for we have seen the land, and indeed it is very good. Would you do nothing? Do not hesitate to go and enter to possess the land. When you go, you will come to a secure people and a large land, for God has given it into our hand, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth." Verse 27. So they took the things Micah has made, and the priests who had belonged to him, and went to Laish, to the people quiet and secure, and they struck them down with the edge of the sword and burned the city with fire. There was no deliverer, because it was far from Sidon. There was no deliverer. Interesting story. These guys were doing very well, doing extremely very well. But the only unfortunate thing is that they have no tie with anybody. They have no friends. They have no king. Nobody to scold them. Nobody to tell them, "Look, what you are doing is wrong. Why are you doing like that?" There was nobody to correct them. There was nobody to encourage them. There was nobody to applaud them. There was nobody to say, "You are doing well." And they were living like the normal life. They didn't need anything. They had everything they needed. They had it in their possession. If somebody wanted to change his car, all he needs to do is go to the bank, just write a check, go to a car dealer and say, "Look, this is the car I need." If they need food, they go to the market and just buy. Nobody stopped you on the way. There was no traffic warden that says, "Hold on." They were living their life as if that is all that is to be. Until one day, the children of Israel were looking for a land to take over. And then they got to a place. They were to go and spy this place. They got there and they went to one house. And they met a priest there. Said, "Tell me about this place." He said, "This place is every man for himself, God for us all. We don't, no fellowship. There is nothing. We are doing our thing." And they said, "That is all I need. That is the news I want to hear." And they went back to their brethren and said, "Look, the land is there for us to take." And then the gang